Aloha and welcome to A Course in Miracles. We're in the Workbook, Lesson 47. God is the strength in which I trust. If you are trusting in your own strength, you have every reason to be apprehensive, anxious, and fearful. And remember, we talked about the Course is speaking to us on two different levels. The level of our true self, that which is changeless, that which is one with God, that which is real and always with God, our right mind. And then the Course also speaks, sometimes in the same sentence, to that part of us which thinks that it is separate from God, the ego, a totally different level. And this first part is speaking to that part of us that thinks it's an ego, that thinks it's separate from everybody else, living its own life in its own little separate world. And that's who it's talking to when it says, if we're trusting in that self, the self that we are identifying with, then we have every reason to be apprehensive, anxious, and fearful, because that self is inadequate and that self is weak. You might think you're strong, but really, let's look. It says, what can you predict or control? And, sometimes we think we can predict things and control things, and we're pretty learned, and we learned a lot, and we have good judgment. But really, when we're being honest, if you look over our lives, what can we predict or control? What is there in you that can be counted on? What could give you the ability to be aware of all the facts in any problem and to resolve them in such a way that only good can come from it? That only good could come from it. Not just good for me, but good for everyone. Only good. I mean, really, if you think back over your life, when have we really been able to work out and control and predict things where it worked out good for everybody involved? I mean, I can't hardly think of any, really, in my life. Sometimes it worked out good for me, sometimes it worked out good for someone else. But for it to work out good for everyone, only good, what would give you the ability to be aware of all the facts of any problem and to resolve them in such a way that only good can come of it? What is there in you that gives you the recognition of the right solution and the guarantee that it will be accomplished? Of course, of yourself, you can do none of these things. And I wanted to just read a little something from the Manual for Teachers here that's sort of talking about this. And the idea of judgment. The world teaches us how to have good judgment so that we can make good decisions. And it says, it is necessary for the teacher of God to realize not that he should not judge. It's not just realize that we shouldn't judge, but we can't judge. What do you mean we can't judge? The aim of our curriculum, unlike the goal of the world's learning, is the recognition that judgment in the usual sense is impossible. In order to judge anything rightly, one would have to be fully aware of an inconceivable wide range of things, past, present, and to come. One would have to recognize in advance all the effects of his judgments on everyone and everything involved in them in any way. And one would have to be certain there is no distortion in his perception, so that his judgment would be wholly fair to everyone on whom it rests now and in the future. Who is in a position to do this? Who, except in grandiose fantasies, would claim this for himself or herself? Make then but one more judgment, and it is this: that there is someone with you whose judgment is perfect. He does know all the facts, past, present, and to come. He does know all the effects of his judgment on everyone and everything and involved in any way. And he is wholly fair to everyone, and there is no distortion in his perception. And of course, that is God. That is the Holy Spirit. And that's what this lesson is about. God is the strength in which I trust. So, to believe that you and I can put our trust in ourselves, where trust is unwarranted, just causes fear, anxiety, depression, anger when things don't go our way, and sorrow often. Who can put his faith in weakness and feel safe? It's no wonder we don't feel safe, because we really aren't adequate to make the right judgments all the time in every way. You who can put his faith, yet who can put his faith in strength and feel weak? God is our safety in every circumstance. His voice, the Holy Spirit, the voice for God, speaks for him in all situations and in every aspect of all situations, telling us exactly what to do to call upon his strength and his protection. So it's there in all of us, this voice. It gets drowned out by the ego, but it's still there, and we can learn to hear it. And that's what the Course is going to help us do, to hear this still small voice speaking. It says there are no exceptions, because God has no exceptions, and the voice which speaks for him thinks as he does. Today we will try to reach past your own weakness to the source of real strength. 4 or 5 minute practice periods are necessary today, and longer and more frequent ones are urged. You might be getting to the place now where you actually really enjoy these times, and sometimes you might feel like, well, wow, why stop at 5 minutes? Let's go longer. I feel such peace. Well, the Course is encouraging us to do that now. So longer and more frequent ones are even urged. Close your eyes and begin as usual by repeating the idea for the day. Then spend a minute or two in searching for situations in your life which you have invested with fear, dismissing each one by telling yourself, God is the strength in which I trust. Now try to slip past all concerns related to your own sense of inadequacy. It is obvious that any situation that causes you concern is associated with feelings of inadequacy. For otherwise, you would believe that you could deal with the situation successfully. It is not by trusting yourself that you will gain confidence, but the strength of God in you is successful in all things. The recognition of your own frailty, though, is a necessary step in the correction of your errors, but it is hardly a sufficient one in giving you the confidence which you need and to which you are entitled. So first we have to kind of get to the point, to realize that we are inadequate. Because, you have to get there too. Sometimes we feel like, I can do it, gotta make it, I can do this. But really, unless we get to the point where we really see that, no, I can't. I don't know all the ins and outs. Every decision that I make, no matter how much planning I do and how much I look up on the internet and read the forums and everything else, in the end, it's still a best guess, because we don't know everything. We don't know that used car has a problem and we're going to buy it and it's going to break down. But there is something inside us that knows everything, that knows, it says, that can tell us exactly what to do to call upon his strength and his protection in every situation. And it's not necessarily saying, that for everyone you're going to hear, oh yeah, Micah, buy that car or whatever. No, it's going to bring us to a place where we just feel we're at peace. I'm not saying that God won't talk to you and doesn't talk to some people in that way, but really it's more about coming in to that oneness where we live out of a sense of our unity with God, and we just make the most loving decisions. It's our natural response to life. And when you make decisions in love, then only love and good. When all your decisions are good, when all you're giving out is good, then only good will come back to you. And so that is kind of what it's saying more, I believe, than it's just saying, that God is going to tell us every little thing to do. No, God is going to bring us to the place where we're in our right mind again, and we're living each and every moment in the now, in love. That love is the motive and the strength and the power in everything we do, and all we want is good for everyone and everybody, and all that comes forth from us is good. And so all that will come back to us will be good. And I believe that's where we're headed, is that place. And that will give us the confidence that's the confidence we're entitled to. But we also need to gain an awareness that confidence in your real strength is fully justified in every respect and in all circumstances. You can kind of say, I am confident in myself because, yourself with a capital S, because I am confident in God. And we'll be able to walk in confidence and not fear and not feelings of inadequacy. That's our, we're entitled to that. That's our birthright. So in the latter phases of the practice period, try to reach down into your mind to a place of real safety. You'll recognize that you've reached it if you feel a sense of deep peace, however briefly. I mean, that's when you know that it's really working. And for me, that's the thing that keeps me coming back, is that deep peace. Let go of the trivial things that churn and bubble on the surface of your mind and reach down and below them to the kingdom of heaven. There is a place in you where there is perfect peace. It's in you. The kingdom of heaven is in you. That's what Jesus taught. Look for it. You'll find it. Knock. It'll open. It's in you. It's not outside of us or anything out there, but it's in us. The kingdom of heaven. There is a place in you where nothing is impossible. There is a place in you where the strength of God abides. During the day, repeat the idea often. Use it in your awareness to any and use it as your answer to any disturbance. Remember that peace is your right because you are giving your trust to the strength of God. And I hope that this lesson just is a life changer for you. I hope that you'll be able to really reach that place of perfect peace today. And that it will just, if you haven't already experienced it, give you that taste of the kingdom of heaven that is better than anything that the ego has to offer. So, have a great day. Peace to you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Aloha.